The coat hit Sophia's shoulders without warning. One moment she was standing by the champagne fountain, trying to disappear into the crowd. The next, expensive wool draped across her bare skin like a cage. Sophia froze. "You looked cold," a deep voice said behind her. She turned. William Kang stood there, his eyes dark and unreadable. The Korean philanthropist everyone feared, the man who could end careers with a phone call. He was taller than she'd imagined, his black suit sharp enough to cut. And he'd just covered her dress, her red dress, the one she'd spent 2 months perfecting, the one with her mother's Nigerian patterns in every stitch, the one that was supposed to prove Sophia Adeleke belonged in this room. Now it was buried beneath his coat. "I'm not cold," Sophia said. "The plaza runs cold," William replied, his tone making it clear this wasn't a discussion. "You'll be more comfortable covering yourself up." Comfortable. The word burned. Sophia looked around. Tons of faces stared back. Manhattan's fashion elite, watching the black designer in red being corrected by William Kang. This wasn't kindness. This was control. "Take it off me," Sophia said. William's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me." She pulled the coat off. The silk of her dress caught the light again, bold and unapologetic. She held the coat out between them. "I didn't ask for your help." The ballroom went silent. William stared at her. His jaw tightened. Behind him, a thin Korean man in glasses, his assistant probably, looked like he'd stopped breathing. Someone near the bar gasped. "What's your name, miss?" he asked. "Sophia? My name is Sophia," she replied. "Sophia?" William said quietly, dangerously. "I'm helping you here. I don't need your help." Sophia pushed the coat into his hands. "What I need is for you to take your coat." For 3 seconds, William Kang stood frozen, holding his own coat, while a nobody designer stared him down in front of everyone who mattered. His fingers closed around the fabric. Something flashed in his eyes. Shock, anger, something else she couldn't name. Sophia turned and walked away. Her heels clicked against marble. The crowd parted. Whispers exploded. Did she just... He doesn't get told no. Who does she think she is? Sophia kept walking, past the shocked faces, past the smirking socialites, past everything. She pushed through the glass doors, and the November wind hit her like a wall. Her hands were shaking. She'd just humiliated the most powerful man in the room. "Sophia!" Rebecca burst through the doors, her best friend's face wild. "What the hell did you just do?" "I don't know." Sophia's voice cracked. "He just put that coat on me like I asked him or something, like my dress wasn't good enough, like I needed him to fix me." "You just embarrassed William Kang," Rebecca interrupted, gripping her arms. "That man doesn't let things go." "Maybe he should." Sophia's phone buzzed. She pulled it out with trembling hands. An email, Infinity Fashion Program, acceptance notification. Her heart stopped. "What?" Rebecca demanded. "I got in," Sophia whispered, staring at the screen. "Rebecca, I got into Infinity, the Infinity Fashion Program, the most elite design incubator in New York. 1 year of mentorship, studio space, investor meetings, 1% acceptance rate, her golden ticket out of her Brooklyn studio apartment and into legitimacy. She'd made it. Rebecca screamed and grabbed her into a hug. They jumped on the sidewalk, laughing and crying while taxis honked and wind cut through their dresses. Sophia had done it, despite everything, despite being broke, despite being an outsider, despite tonight's disaster. Then she kept reading. Her smile died. The program's primary benefactor, the email said, would personally welcome all accepted designers at orientation. William Kang. "No," Sophia breathed. "What? What's wrong?" Sophia showed her the screen. Rebecca's face went pale. "He funds the program," Sophia said. her voice hollow. He's on the board. He'll be there. Maybe it might not be a problem, Rebecca offered weakly. They both knew that was a lie. Sophia had just humiliated him in front of witnesses, and she was sure he'd look for a way to get back at her. I think I just walked into a trap, Sophia whispered, staring at those 8 words, and I don't know how to get out. Above them, through the plaza's tall windows, she could see the ballroom still glittering with light and laughter. Somewhere in there, William Kang was probably still holding his coat, still remembering her face, still planning whatever came next. Sophia had wanted to be seen by New York's fashion world. She'd gotten her wish. Now she just had to survive it. 2 weeks of dread felt like 2 years. Sophia stood outside the glass tower in Midtown, staring up at the steel and chrome building that housed the Infinity Fashion Program. Her portfolio bag felt heavy in her hand, her stomach twisted with nausea. You don't have to go, Rebecca had said that morning. You can walk away. But they both knew that was a lie. Sophia had worked too hard, sacrificed too much to walk away from this opportunity just because William Kang's name was attached to it. She pushed through the revolving doors into a lobby that smelled like money and ambition. Marble floors, modern art on the walls, a receptionist who looked like she belonged on a runway. Infinity orientation? The woman asked without looking up. Yes. 16th floor. The elevator ride felt like ascending to an execution. Sophia's reflection stared back at her from the mirrored walls. Her navy blazer was pressed. Her natural hair was perfect. She looked professional, capable. She looked like she wasn't terrified. The doors opened to a bright studio space filled with cutting tables, dress forms, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan. 9 other designers clustered in small groups, their voices low and excited. They belonged here. They fit. Sophia didn't. Well, a voice said behind her, I guess they really are committed to diversity now. Sophia turned. A white woman with sharp cheekbones and sharper eyes stood there, with an expensive designer bag. Her smile was all teeth. I'm sorry, Sophia said. Laura McCall. The woman didn't offer her hand. My family's been in fashion for 3 generations. Princeton, double major in design and business. Her eyes dragged over Sophia's outfit. Let me guess, diversity quota. Heat flooded Sophia's face, but she was too exhausted for anger. She'd spent 2 weeks imagining this moment with William. She didn't have energy left for Laura McCall or anybody else. I'm here because my work is good, Sophia said flatly. I'm sure it is. Laura's tone said she wasn't sure at all. It's just interesting timing, you know? The program's been under pressure to be more inclusive. 2 other designers had turned to watch. Sophia's hands curled into fists. My name is Sophia Adeleke, she said, keeping her voice level, and I earned my place here. Of course you did. Keep saying that. Laura smiled and walked away, her heels clicking on the polished floor. Sophia stood there, her face burning. This was going to be a long year. Good morning, everyone. A thin man in an expensive suit strode to the front of the room. Director Elliot. He had silver hair and a severe expression that made Sophia's stomach clench tighter. Welcome to the Infinity Fashion Program, he said. 10 of you were selected from over 1,000 applicants. You represent the future of American fashion. Sophia barely heard him. Her eyes kept darting to the studio doors. William would walk through them any moment. She knew he would. The email had been clear. The primary benefactor would personally welcome all accepted designers. She'd had 2 weeks to prepare for this moment. She still wasn't ready. Of course, Director Elliot continued. None of this would be possible without our generous benefactor, the man whose vision and funding makes infinity exist. Sophia's breath came faster. Her palms were sweating. please join me in welcoming William Kang." The studio doors opened, and there he was. William Kang walked in like he owned the world, because in this room, he did. His black suit was perfectly tailored. His expression was calm and controlled. But when his eyes found Sophia across the studio, something flickered there. Recognition, satisfaction, victory. Sophia's knees went weak. Seeing him in person after 2 weeks of dread was worse than she'd imagined. The coat, the rejection, the humiliation at the gala. It all came rushing back. And now he controlled her future. "Thank you, Elliot," William said, his voice smooth and dangerous. He didn't look away from Sophia as he continued. "I'm excited to work with this year's cohort, especially our most memorable applicants." Several designers smiled, probably thinking he meant them. Sophia knew better. He meant her. "Raw talent is rare," William continued, "but raw talent with conviction. That's what changes industries. I'm looking forward to seeing what each of you creates when given the proper support and guidance." Support, guidance, control. Sophia's throat closed. She forced herself to breathe through her nose while her brain screamed, "Trap, trap, trap." William spoke for another 5 minutes about vision and excellence and opportunity. Sophia's hands went cold. Her vision tunneled. She'd known this was coming. She'd prepared herself. It didn't help. When he finished, the designers applauded. William smiled and began working the room, shaking hands, asking questions. He moved through them methodically, charming each one, and he was moving toward Sophia. She could run. She could turn and walk out right now, find another program, another path, anything but this. But her feet stayed planted on the floor. William stopped in front of her, up close. He was exactly as imposing as she remembered, maybe worse. "Ms. Adelek," he said quietly, "fancy seeing you here." "Is it?" She met his eyes. "I'm going to go on a limb here and say you knew I'd applied here. You made sure I got in. You wanted me here." "I wanted to give you an opportunity," William corrected. "What you do with it is entirely up to you." "You intrigued me, Sophia," William interrupted, his voice dropping lower. "After our encounter at the gala, I wanted to understand who you were. What made you so willing to humiliate me in front of everyone who matters?" "I didn't humiliate you. I rejected your coat." "Same thing." Something dark flashed in his eyes. "No one tells me no, Ms. Adelek, but you did." He stepped closer. "I wanted to know why. So yes, I looked into your background, your work, your struggles, and I found someone genuinely talented, buried under poverty and circumstance. So you manipulated my acceptance to what? Punish me? Control me?" "I opened a door," William said, his voice steel wrapped in silk. "You walked through it. Your work earned you that choice." "This isn't a choice," Sophia hissed. "You made sure I'd be here, under your watch. Why?" William's jaw tightened. For a moment, something almost vulnerable crossed his face. Then it was gone. "I want to understand a woman who values her pride over her comfort." He paused. "Over her future." Before Sophia could respond, he turned and walked away, leaving her standing there with her heart racing and 2 weeks of preparation meaning absolutely nothing. He still made her feel like prey. The first week was hell. Monday morning, Sophia stood outside her Brooklyn apartment, exhausted before the day even started. A black Mercedes idled at the curb. The driver rolled down the window. "Ms. Adelek, Mr. Kang sent me, for your convenience." Sophia's stomach dropped. Of course he did. "I didn't. Ask for a car," she said. "Mr. Kang insists. The commute is long. Tell Mr. Kang I'm fine." Sophia turned toward the subway. She arrived at Infinity 20 minutes late, sweating through her blouse, her hair frizzing from the humid subway car. Laura looked up from her cutting table and smiled. Rough commute. Sophia ignored her and got to work. Tuesday morning, the car was there again. Mr. Kang asked me to try again, Ms. Adelek. The answer is still no. Another subway ride. Another late arrival. Director Elliot's pointed look. Laura's smirk. Wednesday morning, Sophia woke up exhausted. She'd stayed up until 2 a.m. working on her first design, desperate to prove she deserved to be here on her own merit. Her alarm hadn't gone off. She was already 30 minutes behind. The black Mercedes sat outside her building like a patient predator. Sophia stood on the sidewalk, her pride and her survival instinct at war. If she took the subway, she'd be an hour late. Director Elliot would notice. Laura would comment. Everyone would whisper about the girl who couldn't even show up on time. Her chest tightened, her eyes burned. She walked to the car. The driver opened the door. Sophia slid into the back seat, hating herself with every breath, and froze. William Kang sat in the opposite seat, his dark suit perfectly pressed, his eyes fixed on her with that same unreadable intensity. "Good morning, Sophia," he said quietly. The driver closed the door. The lock clicked. "Damn it," she said. "Hey guys, if you've ever walked into a room and been told you don't belong, if someone ever made you question whether you earned your success, someone like Laura, who makes others feel small, if you've had to work twice as hard just to prove you deserve to be there, you understand what Sophia's feeling right now. Like this video and subscribe because her fight is just beginning." Silence filled the car like a third passenger. Sophia sat stiffly, staring out the window at Brooklyn rolling past. William sat across from her, perfectly still. Neither spoke for a while. Sophia took a breath. "Thank you. I was going to be late." William looked at her. "You're welcome." More silence. Traffic sounds filtered through the windows. Sophia's hands tightened on her bag. "Why do you even care if I get late?" William was quiet for a long moment. "Because you refused me," he said finally, "at the gala. And I realized I couldn't remember the last time someone had done that." "So this is about your ego?" "Partially," William admitted, "but not entirely." The honesty surprised her. "Then what is it?" Sophia asked. William looked at her directly. "I don't know yet." Something in his voice made her believe him. She looked away, back out the window. "My mother used to say that accepting help doesn't make you weak," Sophia said quietly. "But she died working 3 jobs because she was too proud to ask for any. So I don't know if I believe that." "My mother left when I was 8, William said. "No warning, no goodbye. My father said it was because we weren't strong enough to keep her. That control is the only thing that matters." He paused. "So I learned to control everything." Sophia looked at him. "At least you're honest," Sophia said. "I try to be." The car pulled up to Infinity's building. Sophia reached for the door handle, then hesitated. "Thank you again, Mr. Kang." She stepped out onto the sidewalk and didn't look back. The car pulled away. Sophia stood there for a moment, her bag heavy with fabric samples and sketches, her mind heavy with something else entirely. William Kang had just been human. She hated how much that changed things. Inside the studio, Sophia threw herself into work. Director Elliot had assigned their first major project, a signature piece that represented their design philosophy. 3 weeks to complete. Full presentation to a panel of investors. This was everything. This was her proof. Laura was already at her station, sketching furiously. She looked up when Sophia entered. "On time today," Laura said, her smile sharp. "The car service must be nice." Sophia set down her bag and started organising her workspace. She didn't respond. "Looks like some of us earn our opportunities the old-fashioned way," Laura said. Sophia finally looked at her. Are you finished? Laura blinked. Excuse me? I'm working. You should too. Sophia turned back to her sketches. Laura's face flushed red. She opened her mouth, closed it, then spun back to her own station with a huff. Sophia got to work. She spent the day sketching, draping, experimenting with the Ankara fabric she'd brought from home. The pattern was her mother's favourite, geometric shapes that represented family, continuity, and strength. Sophia wanted to modernise it, make it bold and architectural. By 6 o'clock, her back ached and her eyes burned. But she had a solid concept. Her stomach growled. She'd skipped lunch. Rebecca had texted earlier, working late, fend for yourself for dinner. Sophia packed up her materials and headed out. There was a small Italian place 2 blocks away that she'd passed a dozen times but never entered. Tonight felt like the right night to try it. The restaurant was warm and dimly lit, with red checkered tablecloths and the smell of garlic and tomato sauce. A few couples sat scattered at tables, one man reading a newspaper at the bar. Just one? The hostess asked. Yes. Sophia was led to a small table by the window. She ordered pasta and opened her sketchbook, working through proportion problems while she waited for her food. The door chimed. Sophia glanced up reflexively. William Kang walked in. Their eyes met across the restaurant. For a moment, neither moved. Then William's expression shifted. Surprise, maybe recognition. He said something to the hostess, who nodded and gestured towards the dining room. William walked towards Sophia's table. Sophia, he said, are you following me? The question came out sharper than she intended. I eat here twice a week, William said. I assure you I'm not following you. Sophia studied his face. He wasn't lying. Oh, may I? William gestured to the empty chair. She found herself nodding. William sat down. The waiter appeared immediately, clearly recognizing him. Mr. Kang, the usual, please. The waiter disappeared. Awkward silence settled over the table. William glanced at her open sketchbook. You're still working? Always. May I? He gestured toward the sketch. Sophia hesitated, then turned the book toward him. The design showed a structured jacket with angular Ankara panels integrated into the shoulders and lapels, bold. Architectural, uncompromising. William studied it for a long moment. The pattern placement here, he said, pointing to the shoulder seam. That's going to be challenging to match across the seam allowance. Sophia looked up, surprised. You know pattern matching. My mother was a seamstress, William said, before she left. I used to watch her work. Something in his voice made Sophia's chest tighten. What kind of things did she make? Wedding dresses, mostly. Custom work for wealthy clients. William's expression was distant. She was talented, but my father said talent without stability was worthless. Is that why she left? William's jaw tightened. I don't know why she left. The pain in those words was carefully controlled, but unmistakable. Sophia recognized it. She carried the same pain, just shaped differently. Looks like we have something in common. My mother also made clothes, Sophia said quietly. In Lagos. She made school uniforms, church clothes, and wedding outfits. She could look at someone and know their measurements just by sight. She paused. She worked herself to death. She wouldn't ask for help. She said accepting help meant accepting defeat. Is that why you wouldn't take the car? William asked. Partially. Sophia traced the edge of her sketchbook, also because I didn't trust why you were offering. And now? Sophia met his eyes. I still don't. But I'm too tired to fight about it. William's mouth curved slightly. Not quite a smile, but close. Honest. You said you value honesty. I do. Sophia's pasta arrived. William's food followed. Some kind of risotto that looked expensive and perfectly plated. They ate in silence for a few minutes. It wasn't uncomfortable, just quiet. The shoulder construction, William said finally. If you use a French seam and pre-match the pattern before you cut, it'll line up better. Sophia paused mid-bite. That's actually smart. Sophia pulled her sketchbook back toward her and made a note. I'm sorry, William said out of the blue. About your mother. I'm sorry about yours too. They finished eating. The conversation shifted to easier topics. Design techniques, fabric, suppliers, the logistics of running a fashion program. William knew more than Sophia expected. He asked intelligent questions. He listened when she answered. An hour passed, then another. Sophia's phone buzzed. A text from Rebecca. You alive? Sophia glanced at the time. 8:45. She'd been here for almost 3 hours. I should go, she said, reaching for her bag. Let me get this, William said, gesturing to their plates. I can pay for my own dinner. I know you can, but I'd like to. Sophia wanted to argue, but she was tired, and the meal had been expensive, and her budget was already stretched thin. Thank you, she said quietly. William signalled for the check. They stood. Sophia gathered her sketchbook and fabric samples. Outside, the air was cold. Sophia pulled her coat tighter. Can I give you a ride home? William asked. I'll take the subway. It's late. I've taken the subway late before. William didn't push. Then I'll see you tomorrow morning. Sophia turned and walked towards the subway. She didn't look back, but 3 blocks away she found herself smiling like a teenager who had a crush. The car became part of Sophia's routine. Every morning at 7:15, the black Mercedes waited outside her Brooklyn apartment. Every morning, William sat in the back seat with his phone and his coffee, and every morning they talked. At first, the conversations were brief, safe topics, the weather, traffic, her design progress, but by the second week, something shifted. How's the jacket coming? William asked one Thursday morning. Sophia pulled out her sketchbook without thinking. I'm struggling with the lapel construction. The anchor is thicker than I expected, so it's not laying flat. William leaned forward to look at her sketch. Have you tried interfacing? It makes it too stiff. What about a lighter weight interfacing? Just enough structure to support the fold without adding bulk. Sophia paused. That might work, actually. These moments kept happening, small exchanges about technique, about fabric, about the mechanics of making something beautiful. On Monday of the 3rd week, Sophia got into the car and found a coffee waiting in the cup holder. She picked it up. Is this for me? Unless you want mine, William said, gesturing to his own cup. Sophia took a sip. Cream, no sugar. Exactly how she took it. How did you know? She asked. William didn't look up from his phone. I pay attention. Something warm spread through Sophia's chest. She looked out the window so he wouldn't see her smile. The studio was chaos. Everyone's designs were taking shape. The investor presentation loomed 2 weeks away. Director Elliot had started daily reviews, offering feedback that ranged from encouraging to devastating. When he reached Sophia's station, he stopped. Her jacket hung on the dress form, bold, architectural. The anchor panels integrated seamlessly into the structured silhouette. The geometric patterns created movement across the shoulders and down the lapels. This is exceptional work, Ms. Adeleke, Director Elliot said. Innovative without being costumey, commercial without being boring. He looked at her. This is exactly the kind of design Infinity exists to support. Sophia's heart soared. Thank you. Director Elliot moved to the next station. Laura's design, a beautiful but safe evening gown in navy silk. Well executed, forgettable. Lovely craftsmanship, Ms. McCall, Director Elliot said. Perhaps push the concept further? Laura's smile was tight. Of course. After director Elliot left, the studio buzzed with nervous energy. Sophia returned to her work, pinning the final pattern pieces. Must be nice. Sophia looked up. Laura stood at the edge of her station, arms crossed. Excuse me? Having William Kang as your personal consultant, Laura said. Her voice was casual, but her eyes were sharp. Everyone's seen you two. Those long conversations. You think people don't notice? Sophia's stomach dropped. I'm not. I'm just saying. It makes sense now. Why you got in. Why your designs are suddenly so polished. Laura smiled. Must be helpful, having that kind of support. I earned my place here, Sophia said, her voice low. Did you? Laura tilted her head. Or did you just earn his attention? She walked away before Sophia could respond. Sophia stood there, her hands shaking. Around her, other designers whispered. Were they talking about her? Had they all noticed? She looked at her jacket. Was it really exceptional? Or was director Elliot being generous because of William? The doubt crept in like poison. That afternoon, William arrived for his monthly program, walk-through with director Elliot. All 10 designers stood by their stations while he moved through the studio, asking questions, offering observations. He was professional, charming. He gave each designer equal time and attention. But when he reached Sophia's station, he paused. His eyes took in her jacket, the clean lines, the bold pattern integration, the way the structure created shape without rigidity. It's beautiful, he said quietly. So quietly, only she could hear. Sophia was acutely aware of everyone watching, Laura especially. Thank you, Mr. Kang, Sophia said formally. William's eyes flicked to her face. Something shifted in his expression. Confusion, maybe hurt. He moved to the next station. After the walkthrough, after director Elliot had shown William out, after most of the designers had left for the day, William returned. He found Sophia at her station, still working. Did something happen? He asked. Sophia didn't look up from her stitching. No. Then why are you like this? Sophia set down her needle. People are talking. About us. About how much time we spend together. Let them talk. Easy for you to say. Sophia finally looked at him. You're not the one whose work is being questioned. You're not the one people think is sleeping her way to success. William's jaw tightened. Who said that? It doesn't matter. What matters is that every time you help me, you make it harder for people to see my work. They see your influence, your money, your connections. They don't see me. The words hung between them. Your work speaks for itself, William said quietly. Does it? Sophia's voice cracked. Or does everyone just assume you're doing the work for me? That's not fair. Maybe not. But it's reality. Sophia wrapped her arms around herself. I need people to respect my work. That's all I have. And I can't have that if everyone thinks I'm your project. William looked like she'd struck him. Is that what you think you are? I don't know what I am. Sophia's voice dropped. But I know we need distance, at least here, at least publicly. William was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. If that's what you need, he said. He turned and walked toward the door. William, Sophia started, but he was already gone. Sophia stood there in the empty studio, feeling the loss like a physical ache. She'd done the right thing. So why did it feel so wrong? The next 48 hours felt like walking through fog. Sophia and William didn't speak, and she missed him. She threw herself into work, staying late every night, trying to outrun the hollow feeling in her chest. Friday evening. The studio was empty. She needed to finish the lining before the weekend. She walked to her storage locker to get the jacket prototype. The locker door was hanging open. Sophia's heart stuttered. She always locked it. Always. She pulled the door wider. Her jacket lay in shreds on the bottom of the locker. The Ankara panels were slashed, seams ripped apart. The carefully constructed shoulders were destroyed. 3 weeks of work reduced to scraps of fabric and broken thread. Sophia's hand shook as she lifted the ruined pieces. Her vision tunneled. The room tilted. The investor presentation was in 2 weeks. She couldn't remake this in time. She sank to the floor, the destroyed fabric in her lap, and felt her entire world collapse. Her phone rang. William. She stared at the screen and answered. "Are you still at the studio?" William asked. Sophia's throat closed. "Yes, I'm outside. Come down." Something in his tone made her stand. She left the ruined jacket on the floor and took the elevator down. The black Mercedes idled at the curb. Sophia got in. William looked at her face and knew immediately. What happened? Sophia tried to speak. Her hands were still holding pieces of fabric she'd grabbed without thinking. William took them, turned them over in his hands. His expression darkened. "Who did this?" "I don't know." Sophia's voice shook. "I locked it. I always lock it. But someone—" Her voice broke. "I can't remake this in time. I don't have the materials. I don't have the time. She couldn't finish the sentence. William was quiet. Then, "Yes, you can." Sophia looked at him. "You don't understand." "I have connections," William interrupted. "The best in the city. Whatever you need, I can get it by tomorrow morning. Pattern matching, hand dyeing if necessary, whatever it takes." "I can't accept that." Sophia's chest hurt. "Don't you see? This is exactly what Laura said, that you're my personal consultant, that I'm only here because of you. If I let you help me now, or you can fail," William said, his voice hard, "because you're too proud to accept help when you need it, just like your mother." Sophia flinched. "I'm not trying to hurt you," William continued, softer now. "But you need to hear this. Your mother thought accepting help was the same as accepting defeat, and you're about to do the same thing. This is different. Is it?" William leaned forward. "I'm not offering to do the work for you. I'm not offering to design your jacket, or construct your seams, or present your work. I'm offering you materials. That's all. You still have to remake every stitch. You still have to solve every technical problem. You still have to create something beautiful. I'm just making sure you have the tools to do it. Accepting help is not a bad thing, Sophia." Sophia stared at the ruined fabric in her hands. "If I do this," Sophia whispered, "people will say I only succeeded because of you." "Maybe," William said. "But if you don't do this, you'll fail because of them, which is worse." Sophia closed her eyes. She thought about the jacket, her vision, her proof that she belonged here. She thought about William, who'd respected her boundary even though it hurt him, who'd come back anyway when she needed him. "Okay," she whispered. William's expression softened. "Okay, okay." Sophia opened her eyes. "Help me." Saturday morning, 7 a.m, Sophia's phone buzzed. "William, outside. Bring your patterns." She grabbed her sketchbook and the salvaged pieces of Ankara fabric and ran downstairs. The trunk of the Mercedes was open. Inside, bolts of fabric in every shade she needed, interfacing, lining, thread spools organised by colour, a portable cutting mat, industrial scissors still in their packaging. "I made calls," William said. "The Ankara is from a supplier in Brooklyn who hand dyes. It's not identical to your original, but it's close." "William." Sophia's voice broke as she jumped on him. "Thank you." He looked at her with a smile. "Go make something beautiful." The next 5 days were a blur of cutting, stitching, pressing, adjusting. Sophia barely slept. She lived in the studio, her hands cramping, her eyes burning, her mind focused on one thing: perfection. She met up with the deadline. The jacket hung on the dress form, and Sophia stepped back to look at it. It was better than the original. Sophia pulled out her phone and took a picture. She sent it to William. 3 minutes later, he responded, "Told you." Presentation time arrived cold and bright. The studio had been transformed into a gallery. Investors sat in rows of chairs, fashion executives, boutique owners, venture capitalists. Director Elliot stood at the front, introducing each designer. Sophia's hands were steady as she waited for her turn. Laura presented first. Her navy gown was beautiful. The investors clapped politely. Then it was Sophia's turn. She stepped forward, her jacket displayed on a live model who moved and turned, showing how the structure worked with the body. "This piece is called Threads of Home," Sophia began, her voice clear and strong. "It's a fusion of Nigerian Ankara textile traditions and contemporary tailoring. My mother taught me that every stitch carries intention. That fabric tells stories." She paused. "This jacket tells the story of women who build, who create, who refuse to disappear." The room was silent. Then one investor stood, then another. Applause filled the studio. Sophia's chest tightened. She'd done it, on her own terms, with her own hands. Director Elliot approached her after, his severe face actually smiling. "Extraordinary work, Ms. Adelek. We have 3 investors who want to meet with you privately." "Thank you," Sophia managed. She looked across the room. William stood in the back, half hidden, behind other attendees. Their eyes met. He smiled, small, private, just for her. After the presentations ended, after the investors had asked their questions and exchanged business cards, after the other designers had left celebrating, Sophia was packing up her station when Director Elliot approached. "Ms. Adelek, a moment?" Sophia straightened. "Of course. We've reviewed the security footage from a week ago. It was deleted, but we were able to get it back," Director Elliot said, his voice carefully neutral. "The night your original jacket was destroyed." Sophia's breath caught. "Ms. McCall has been removed from the program, effective immediately," Director Elliot continued. "Her actions were unacceptable. I want you to know that your talent was never in question, not by me, not by the selection committee. You earned your place here." Something tight in Sophia's chest finally loosened. "Thank you. This means so much to me." Director Elliot nodded and walked away. Sophia stood there, processing. Laura was gone. The sabotage was confirmed. Her work had been validated. "Congratulations." Sophia turned. William stood a few feet away, his hands in his pockets. "You saw?" she asked. "Every second." He stepped closer. "I couldn't have finished without your help," Sophia said. "You could have," William said gently. "Maybe not in a week, though, but you would have found a way." "Maybe." Sophia met his eyes. "But I didn't want to do it without you." William went very still. "Sophia." Sophia stepped closer. "I'm terrified, because depending on people has only ever hurt me, because everyone I've ever loved has left. But Her voice wavered. "I think I'm falling in love with you, and I don't know what to do with that." William closed the distance between them. His hands cupped her face, gentle and trembling slightly. "I'm in love with you," he said, his voice rough. "Completely. Terrifyingly. I don't know how to do this without trying to control it, without trying to protect you from everything, without—" "Then we'll figure it out together," Sophia said. "Both of us, equally terrified." "I've never done equal before," William admitted. Sophia's hands covered his. "Would you like to try with me?" William rested his forehead against hers. "I don't deserve you." "Maybe not," Sophia said softly. "But I'm not going anywhere." "Promise?" "I promise." William kissed her then, soft and deep and full of everything neither of them knew how to say. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, William's expression was unguarded in a way she'd never seen. "Can I give you a ride home? In the car I've been taking for 3 weeks." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "I think we're past asking permission." "Good." William took her hand. "Because I wasn't planning to let you take the subway." "See, that's the controlling thing." "I know," William said, "but humour me. Just tonight." Sophia squeezed his hand. "Just tonight. Tomorrow, we negotiate." "Tomorrow, we negotiate," William agreed. They walked toward the exit together, hands intertwined, both still terrified, both choosing each other anyway. When they finally got in the car, Sophia curled into his side and William wrapped his arm around her. Two people who'd learned control as survival. Two people learning to trust instead. Sophia Adalek had come to New York with nothing but her mother's patterns and her own stubborn pride. Now she had her name, her work, and someone who loved her enough to learn how to set her free. She looked up at William, who was looking at her like she was the only thing that mattered. Sophia smiled back. For the first time in years, she wasn't afraid of what came next because she knew he was by her side. The end. Have you ever had to work twice as hard just to prove you earned your place? Have you ever been told your success wasn't really yours, that someone gave it to you? Sophia refused to disappear, and William learned that love isn't about control. It's about trust, all because sometimes the hardest thing you'll ever do is accept help without losing yourself, and love someone without caging them. Real strength is knowing when to stand alone and when to let someone stand with you, even when everyone's watching and judging. If this story reminded you that being seen for who you really are is worth fighting for, and that pride doesn't have to mean isolation, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because stories like this, the ones about earning your place and loving without limits, don't come around every day.